The cosmic arrival. The night sky above New York City shimmered with an unnatural glow, like the stars themselves were trembling. On the streets below, life carried on as usual. Cars honked in traffic, neon signs buzzed outside late-night diners, and people hurried home through the crowded sidewalks. But above all the chaos of the city, a disturbance stared, one that would soon turn the familiar hum of New York into a battlefield of cosmic proportions. High above the skyline, a jagged tear split open in the fabric of space itself. The air vibrated with a low, bone-rattling hum as energy poured from the rift in blinding flashes of violet and blue. From within, a colossal vessel emerged, dark and angular, its hull pulsing with alien runes that glowed like veins of fire. The ship hovered menacingly, eclipsing the moon, its shadow stretching across the city like a grim omen. On a nearby rooftop, Peter Parker, better known to the world as Spider-Man, froze mid-swing as his spider sense screamed louder than ever before. The hair on the back of his neck stood up as he stared at the rift widening across the heavens. "Okay, that's definitely not good," he muttered, crouching low on the edge of the building. He raised his mask just enough to gulp down some air, as if oxygen alone might steady his nerves. But his gut told him this was different. This wasn't a bank robbery, or a rogue supervillain on a rampage. This was something bigger, something he had never faced alone. A booming voice suddenly echoed through the sky, carried on waves of energy that rattled windows and sent car alarms blaring. "People of Earth, bow before your destiny. I am Xar'Thon, Warlord of the Endless Void. This world now belongs to me." From the colossal ship, hundreds of alien crafts erupted like a swarm of locusts. Sleek, jagged fighters screamed through the night sky, their engines howling as they descended toward the city. Pulses of green plasma lit up the skyline as they began firing on the streets below. Explosions rippled through avenues, sending civilians running in every direction. Spider-Man leapt from his perch and swung into action, firing webs at panicked pedestrians to pull them out of danger. He caught a collapsing streetlight with a web line before it could crush a fleeing family. "Don't worry, folks. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here. Emphasis on friendly. Please don't trample me on your way out." Despite his quips, Spider-Man's chest tightened as he dodged plasma fire. His spider sense guided him through the storm, but the sheer scale of destruction made his efforts feel like drops in a collapsing dam. Alien soldiers poured from drop pods, towering beings clad in obsidian armor, their weapons glowing with otherworldly power. Spider-Man landed on the hood of a taxi, flipping backward as an alien swung its blade down where he had stood. He fired a pair of web shooters, slinging thick cords of webbing to yank the creature's arms together. "You know, buddy, you'd really fit in at Comic-Con. Ever thought about cosplaying?" The alien roared, ripping through the webs with brute strength. Spider-Man's eyes widened behind his mask. "Okay, not a cosplayer." Noted. He launched himself upward, clinging to the side of a skyscraper as explosions rattled the glass beneath him. His mind raced. This wasn't just another attack. It was an invasion. And though his instinct was to keep fighting, something inside him admitted the truth. He couldn't do this alone. Pulling out his communicator, Peter sent out an urgent call on the Avengers frequency. Hey, this is Spider-Man. So, not to freak anyone out, but giant alien warship tearing open the sky over Manhattan. Plasma fire. Very scary guys with swords. Any Avengers out there? Like right now?" Static buzzed back at him. For a moment, his heart sank. Then a familiar voice cut through, cool and confident. "Relax, kid. I'm en route." Peter grinned under his mask. "Iron Man. Man, am I glad to hear you." No pun intended. Before more could be said, a colossal shockwave rolled across the city as Xar'Thon himself descended from the rift. The alien warlord was a towering figure, clad in crimson armor etched with glowing sigils, his eyes burning like twin suns. He landed in the middle of Times Square, the impact shattering glass for blocks. Civilians scattered, their screams drowned by the warlord's chilling proclamation. "This world will kneel. Your heroes will fall. And your strength will feed the void." Spider-Man's fists clenched as he perched high above, watching the chaos unfold below. His instinct screamed at him to dive down and fight, but he forced himself to pause. This wasn't just his battle anymore. In the distance, a streak of light cut across the sky. Iron Man rocketing toward the city, his repulsors glowing like miniature suns. Somewhere far off, the ground shook as another force approached, a primal fury awakened by the scent of war. Spider-Man took a deep breath, readying himself. This was the beginning. The city, the planet, maybe even the entire universe was at stake. And though he didn't know if they could win, one truth burned bright in his mind. When legends collide, the fate of the world is decided. Iron and rage. The streets of Manhattan burned with chaos. Sirens howled, fire lit up the skyline, and alien war machines crawled across avenues like insects, blasting plasma into crowds of fleeing civilians. Above it all, the massive warship loomed, an obsidian fortress blotting out the stars. Spider-Man swung through the pandemonium, webbing shut an alien drop pod before it could fully open. He flipped backward as plasma bolts scorched the air beside him. His heart raced, but he fought to stay calm. Okay, Pete, giant alien invasion. No big deal. Just, Tuesday in New York. Then, a golden red streak blazed through the night sky, moving faster than any jet. It cut across the city like a comet, leaving trails of blue flame. A second later, the voice came over Spider-Man's comms, calm and sharp, edged with sarcasm. Don't worry, kid. Dad's home. Iron Man slammed into the battlefield, unleashing a barrage of repulsor blasts. His suit gleamed with the latest upgrades, panels shifting seamlessly as his targeting systems locked on. Drones swarmed him immediately, but his shoulder cannons pivoted and fired, slicing through the attackers with surgical precision. From his vantage point, Spider-Man felt relief. Finally, I was starting to feel like the opening act at a horror show. I told you to stick to neighborhood crime, Tony quipped back, blasting an alien trooper so hard it flew into a taxi. You're welcome. But despite Iron Man's firepower, the enemy was unrelenting. Wave after wave poured from the mothership, their armor glowing with cosmic energy. And then, everything shook. The pavement cracked, glass shattered, and car alarms blared as something massive struck the ground. A deep, guttural roar ripped through the night. From the shadows of an alley, a colossal green figure charged forward. The Hulk. His eyes burned with primal fury, his fists clenched like wrecking balls ready to smash. Spider-Man perched on a lamppost, wide-eyed. Oh, thank God. Big Green's here. This party just got a whole lot less one-sided. The Hulk roared again, leaping into a squad of alien warriors. The ground trembled as he landed, smashing the pavement into a crater. His fists came down like meteors, pulverizing armor and sending enemies flying in every direction. Plasma blasts bounced harmlessly off his skin as he tore through the invaders like paper. Iron Man hovered above, scanning. Banner looks cranky tonight. Gee, Tony, maybe it's because the sky's ripping apart and aliens are everywhere. Spider-Man shot back, slingshotting himself into the chest of an alien soldier before webbing it to a street sign. But even with Hulk's sheer brute force and Iron Man's firepower, the enemy pressed harder. Plasma turrets unfolded from the alien ship, raining down destruction on Times Square. Buildings erupted in flame, debris raining from above. Then the ground shook again, not from Hulk this time. Xar'Thon descended. The alien Warlord's massive frame hovered just above the pavement, his crimson armor pulsing with energy. His eyes glowed molten gold, and in his hand he carried a blade forged from the void itself, crackling with power. He smiled as he looked upon Earth's defenders. So, these are your champions. Xar'Thon's voice thundered, vibrating through every window. A boy, a man in metal, and a beast. He raised his weapon, its edge humming with lethal energy. You will entertain me before you fall. Spider-Man's knees almost buckled under the sheer presence of the Warlord. His spider sense screamed constantly, warning him of imminent death. But he forced a grin, his voice cracking only slightly. Guys. Anybody else feel like this just turned into a boss level? Hulk growled low, pounding his fists together. Hulk smash. With that, Hulk charged, shaking the ground with every step. He swung his colossal fist, meeting Xar'Thon's blade mid-strike. The impact was like thunder. A shockwave blasted outward, shattering windows and flipping cars. Xar'Thon grinned, barely budging. He twisted his blade, releasing a surge of energy that hurled Hulk backward through a building. Concrete and steel collapsed around the green giant. For the first time, Hulk groaned in pain. Iron Man streaked in, unleashing a full salvo of micromissiles. They exploded across Xar'Thon's armor, lighting up the night like fireworks. Smoke billowed, but when it cleared, The Warlord stood unharmed. He swatted Iron Man with a single hand, sending him spiraling into the side of a skyscraper. Alarms blared as Tony fought to stabilize his thrusters. Spider-Man's throat went dry. He was the last one standing between this cosmic monster and the terrified people fleeing below. "Okay, Spidey," he whispered, flexing his hands. "You fought gods, robots, and way too many guys with wings. Time to add Galactic Deathlord to the list." He launched himself from the rooftop, spinning a web to Xar'Thon's arm and yanking with all his strength. It barely slowed the Warlord, but it was enough of a distraction for Iron Man to recover. Tony's voice crackled in Peter's ear. "Kid, stall him. I need 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Peter yelped, flipping out of the way of Xar'Thon's swing. The blade carved through a bus like butter. "In case you haven't noticed, I don't have 10 seconds. But Spider-Man fought anyway. He zipped around the Warlord, firing webs at his joints, flipping through the air as plasma blasts seared past him. Every instinct screamed to run, but he didn't. He couldn't. Not when the city needed him. Hulk roared again, erupting from the rubble, more furious than ever. Iron Man soared back into the fight, systems back online. Together, the three legends faced Xar'Thon head-on. The Warlord's laughter echoed through the ruins of the city. "Good. Now the battle begins." Clash of Legends. The ruins of Times Square burned like a battlefield from another world. Neon billboards sputtered in showers of sparks, alien ships hovered overhead like vultures, and the once bustling streets were littered with debris. In the center of the chaos, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Hulk stood against Xar'Thon, the Warlord of the Endless Void. The Warlord's crimson armor pulsed with dark energy, glowing veins of cosmic light running across it like rivers of fire. His blade crackled with power that hummed louder than the city itself. He moved with terrifying confidence, towering over the three heroes, his molten gold eyes fixed on them as if they were prey. "You are persistent," Xar'Thon said, his voice deep enough to rattle the glass of nearby towers. "But persistence is not strength. You will break." Hulk bared his teeth, his muscles bulging like mountains ready to collapse. He stumped forward, pounding his fists together. "Hulk, not break," he roared before charging with the force of a tank. The Warlord swung his blade in a wide arc. Hulk caught it in both hands, the metal screeching as it clashed with his raw power. The impact shook the earth, creating a shockwave that sent cars tumbling and cracked the asphalt in spiderweb patterns. Hulk snarled and pushed forward, but Xar'Thon didn't flinch. Instead, he released a surge of energy from the blade, sending Hulk flying backward through a collapsed billboard. "Okay, new rule," Spider-Man muttered, flipping onto a lamppost. "Nobody grabbed the giant magic sword unless they really want to be a pancake." Iron Man hovered into position, scanning furiously. His HUD flashed warnings in red. Armor damage detected. Energy output, off the charts. Tony gritted his teeth. "Kid, keep him moving. Big guy, when you're done with your nap, smash harder." Spider-Man leapt into action, firing webs that splattered across Xar'Thon's arm. He swung in rapid circles, trying to yank the Warlord off balance. "Hey, glowing scary dude. Over here. Ever try yoga? You look tense." Xar'Thon turned, ripping through the webs like cobwebs. He swung his blade, and Peter barely somersaulted out of its path, the edge slicing clean through a city bus as if it were paper. Spider-Man's heart raced. His spider sense screamed constantly, but he kept moving, webbing fallen debris to hurl at the alien tyrant. Meanwhile, Iron Man activated his unibeam. His chest reactor glowed bright blue before unleashing a concentrated blast of pure energy straight into Xar'Thon's chest plate. The impact lit up the night like a miniature sun, knocking the Warlord back a step. But only a step. Xar'Thon smite, brushing off the smoking embers from his armor. Impressive. For mortals. He raised his free hand, gathering a sphere of crackling violet energy. With a single gesture, he hurled it upward. The sphere exploded in the sky, releasing a wave that disabled nearby aircraft and even shorted out sections of Iron Man's suit. "Systems failing. Great," Tony muttered, struggling to stabilize himself mid-D. "Stark luck at its finest." From the rubble, Hulk roared back into the fight. He hurled a chunk of concrete the size of a truck straight at Xar'Thon. The Warlord sliced it in two mid-D, but that gave Hulk the opening he needed. He leapt, fists raised, and slammed down onto Xar'Thon's chest plate with bone-shaking force. For the first time, the alien staggered. Yes! Spider-Man shouted, swinging past. Big Green delivers. But Xar'Thon only laughed, his voice echoing like thunder. He grabbed Hulk by the throat and hurled him into the side of a skyscraper. The impact shattered the building's facade, glass cascading like rain. Spider-Man landed beside Iron Man, panting. Okay, so, plan B? Or maybe C. Honestly, I'll take the whole alphabet right now. Tony's voice was sharp. I've got one, but it's going to hurt. He sent a quick schematic to Spider-Man's comms. The plan was insane. Combine Hulk's raw kinetic force, Spider-Man's speed and precision, and Iron Man's arc reactor energy into one focused strike. A strike powerful enough to overload Xar'Thon's armor and maybe, just maybe, bring him down. Wow, Peter said, staring at the diagram. That's basically science for hit him with everything we've got. Exactly. Before they could act, the ground shook again. The mothership above began to charge its main cannon, a massive sphere of light gathering at its core. Alarms wailed across the city as civilians screamed. If that thing fires, Tony said grimly, it won't just level Manhattan. It'll wipe out half the eastern seaboard. Spider-Man's mouth went dry. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for the entire planet. Hulk staggered out of the rubble, bloodied but angrier than ever. His fists clenched, his chest heaving, his voice a guttural growl. Hulk, smash Warlord. Spider-Man looked at Iron Man, then at the Warlord looming above them, cosmic energy crackling around his blade. All right, legends. Guess it's time to collide. The three heroes rushed forward together, Spider-Man weaving through blasts with acrobatic grace, Iron Man charging his systems to maximum output, Hulk pounding the ground with unstoppable fury. Xar'Thon raised his blade, his golden eyes glowing brighter. The true clash had begun. The night sky above Manhattan pulsed like a dying star. The alien mothership's core blazed with violent light, a sphere of raw energy swelling larger with every passing second. Below, the streets lay in ruins, flames licked at broken towers, and the cries of civilians echoed between walls of smoke. Amidst the destruction, three figures still stood, bruised, battered, but unbroken. Spider-Man, Iron Man, and the Hulk. Opposite them, the towering alien Warlord Xar'Thon gripped his cosmic blade, its energy rippling with the power of a black hole. His crimson armor glowed with cracks of golden fire, each step shaking the pavement as if the earth itself recoiled from his presence. He raised the blade high, pointing it at the heroes. You cannot stop destiny, Xar'Thon declared, his voice like rolling thunder. This world will burn, and its ashes will fuel the void. Spider-Man crouched low on a shattered taxi, chest heaving, his hands trembling around his web shooters. His mask was torn, one lens cracked, but his eyes held fire. Yeah, well, here's the thing about destiny. Sometimes, three legends get together and punch it in the face. Hulk let out a deep roar, smashing his fists into the ground. Hulk, smash Warlord. Iron Man hovered beside them, his chute sparking, systems barely holding. Kid's right. Time for the big finale. He glanced at Spider-Man, ready for the plan. Peter swallowed hard. You mean the one that could kill us all? Yep, that one. Hulk grinned through gritted teeth. Hulk liked this plan. The Warlord charged first, his blade slicing through the air in an arc of blinding energy. Hulk met him head-on, fists colliding with the sword. The shockwave shattered windows for blocks, a sonic boom echoing across the city. Iron Man streaked in from above, blasting repulsors into Xar'Thon's chest while Spider-Man zipped around the giant, spinning webs that tethered his arms and legs. For the first time, the alien staggered. His golden eyes narrowed. Futile. With a burst of power, he snapped the webs and hurled Hulk aside. Spider-Man nearly lost his grip as the Warlord's blade sliced through a building, sending steel beams crashing to the streets. Tony's voice came through the comms, sharp and focused. Now, Parker. Link us. Peter's heart hammered, but he moved without hesitation. He fired webs with precision, one binding Hulk's arm, another wrapping around Iron Man's chute. Using all his strength, he slingshot the two titans together, momentum aligning their power into a single, devastating strike. Hulk roared, launching forward with every ounce of fury in his body. Iron Man's reactor blazed at full capacity, a blinding column of blue-white energy roaring outward. At the exact moment their forces converged, Spider-Man swung in and added his own momentum, channeling their combined might straight into Xar'Thon's chestplate. The impact was cataclysmic. The Warlord's armor cracked like glass, shattering into fragments of glowing crimson metal. Cosmic energy bled from the fractures, surging wildly as Xar'Thon screamed in fury. He staggered backward, his blade flickering, his body racked with unstable power. Above them, the mothership's cannon reached critical mass. The sphere of energy wavered, unstable and ready to unleash devastation. Spider-Man's voice cracked in their comms. "If that thing goes off..." "I know," Iron Man cut in. "No time." Xar'Thon raised his arms, trying to absorb energy from the mothership, but his armor could no longer contain it. His body flared with unstable light, veins of fire tearing through him. He roared, defiant even in defeat. "I am eternal." Hulk snarled. "Not today." With one final leap, Hulk drove his fists into the Warlord's chest, smashing him back into the collapsing rift above. Iron Man fired his unibeam, propelling Xar'Thon further into the swirling void. Spider-Man anchored Hulk with webs, straining with everything he had to keep them grounded. The rift exploded in a storm of violet and blue. The mothership cracked apart, pieces disintegrating as the energy imploded inward. Xar'Thon's scream echoed one last time before he vanished into the collapsing void, which sealed with a thunderous flash that lit up the night. And then, silence. The city was broken, but standing. Fires burned, but the people were alive. Slowly, civilians began to emerge from hiding, staring at the three heroes who had saved them. Spider-Man collapsed onto the hood of a wrecked car, mask torn and body aching. "So, anybody else feel like we should order shawarma after this?" Iron Man landed nearby, suit sparking. He managed a tired chuckle. "You read my mind." Hulk trudged forward, dust and smoke clinging to his massive frame. He looked at the others, gave a rare, almost smile, and rumbled, "Hulk hungry." For the first time that night, the three heroes laughed together. Not because the battle was easy, it wasn't. Not because the danger was over, more would come. But because against impossible odds, when legends collided, Earth had stood strong.